maybe I'm just drinking the orange and blue milk right here or something. I'm going to say
Oh,
yes.
gosh,
We do.
just say Gatorade. Orange and blue milk.
I don't know why
Oh,
milk
gosh.
popped into my head. I don't know. It was weird. Almost as weird as smelling like corn dogs, but they'll be there all weekend. The official opening weekend is at hand for Auburn baseball. Start playing it right now. I wish I could when let's not get dinged, but center field by what's his name? You know,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Every time. I love that. And I just want to say this too. Whether I'm in the stadium watching from the parking deck, I just got to commend whoever's running the DJ stuff up there for the baseball pregame, especially. I don't know what they do, but they work magic just getting me in the vibe of just sitting out
Always
there.
a good job.
Just like, yeah, I don't know what every time I just sit back and I'm like, it don't get much better than this. I mean, just hanging out together, enjoying baseball and getting ready for baseball in that sense. So as you can tell, I'm excited. I'm excited to come to maybe a few more series and games this year. Let's maybe start there about this year and just general overview, expectations, maybe a year of a disappointment last year, which was very shocking in a lot of ways, especially when we talked about pitching. But where's your head at, Austin? This is our preview. Where are you at with this baseball 2025 season?
I think there's a lot of excitement. Obviously, a really good job well done by Butch and the coaching staff on doing a good job in the portal. Again, recruiting high school guys that can come in and make an impact who are very valued in the national ranks. I got the chance to kind of go to a preview event for Auburn baseball earlier this week and got to hear from some of the players and the coaching staff, and just very cool to see that they are not shying away from the disappointment that was last year. Very well aware of it, but certainly left a bitter taste in their mouths and want to do better, and are focused and have been working really hard to have a better year. So very cool to see. There's a lot of leadership on this team, whether it's Derek Fabian, Ike Irish, Cooper McMurray, Parker Carlson, all those guys. There's lots of veterans on this team who have seen success and know what that's like, but have also, know that they didn't meet standards last year. So I think you got to be excited about this team. Excuse me, goodness, I'm just choked up about them. I just can't wait for Auburn baseball. But the always fun thing to ask at the very end of one of those preview things is, are you just ready to face somebody else? And they just couldn't be more emphatic that we can't wait to see other pitchers, other hitters, and what that looks like. So they're excited. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun year regardless. It always is.
I like what you said about talking about there's people who have seen the success, because I think in a year like last year, which was very disappointing, we forget about that special season beforehand. The Ike Irishes is there, the Cooper McMurrays were there, or whoever was still there. And there's several of those names that have seen high points and have seen the low points. And so they're going to know, as leaders of this team, having been here for a while now, hey, this is what didn't work. This is what worked. Let's lead in this way. Let's do things this way. Those small, intangible things that we as fans don't get to see are going to be what help them respond to adversity, which will crop up. Again, I'm going to say a very overused phrase. You're playing in the SEC. Doesn't matter the sport. It's going to get tough. That's when things fell off for Auburn last year. And certainly that looks to be a murderer's row for them again, with who they're going to be facing home, away in the SEC. And let's not forget that there's great baseball being played in non-conference too. Before we talk a little bit more baseball, let's acknowledge the newness of this year. And that is the new additions to Plainsman Park, which officially are not going to be completed until next year, because there's some other team stuff that's going to happen. I'm sure some touch-ups of things that they're rushing to get done. It seems like they're on a pretty good timeline, though. The new first base premium seating, which we've gotten some recent videos for you on YouTube and other social media if you want to go check that out. It's going to be about 2 weeks old at this point, but it'll give you a good perspective of what's there. War Eagle Wall will officially be available to stand on top of and watch a baseball game. I cannot wait to do that, cool. Austin. There's been dreams of that, speculation of that. Could we ever do that? And now it's here. And it's just another thing to kind of add. Auburn and Plainsman Park has always been this amalgamation of a lot of different things, inspirations from Fenway, whatever, Camden Yards. And that adds to that even more now with the Big Green Monster for Fenway having people on top of it as well. So what are you most excited about? What sticks out to you the most that people are going to get to experience the first time as the fan experience this year?
Yeah, a part of that event I was talking about earlier, we got to go and kind of see a home run derby style type thing. So we got to see some things from inside the park, and everything just looks nice. It's incredible to see just the differences. Not that Plainsman wasn't nice, but it had not had some significant updates in a while. So to see those things kind of come to fruition were very neat. The War Eagle Wall, I'm one of those who's just been dreaming about that opportunity for a long time. It is truly like nothing anyone else has in college baseball.
Right.
And so for it to be at Auburn is very cool. I envy the person. I know it won't be me because I'm not coordinated enough. I envy the person who catches the first home run ball up there because that will be very neat.
Please be careful. Please be careful.
Please be careful. But there should be plenty of opportunities throughout the season. So just really cool. I think people are going to love that. I hope it brings more people out to the ballpark. Auburn has never had an issue with baseball attendance, but I think, a steady in this early era with non-conference and things like that, it gives a chance for more people to come out and see what's been going on.
Yeah, I would say that probably side of the ballpark has always been the more energy side because you have all the people that sit out there in the terrace seating where you bring your own chair and stuff like that. That's already going to enclose and encapsulate things a little bit more, having people up on the War Eagle Wall. You already have the additions we talked about last year with the deck out there that people can walk up to, and the students especially. So there's so much to be excited about and to talk with, whether we're talking about, whatever aspect of it. So Austin has lost his power, and so it looks like I'm going to do the rest of the show unless he can get back on here. So we will leave him blank there for right now, and I will. This is the part of the we've never encountered this before. I'm going to be honest with you. We have never encountered a live show where Austin loses power. So if he can get back in, I will let him give some more thoughts to round things out. What I'm going to do in the meantime is what we're going to do anyway, is take a little bit of a look at the schedule. And we've done this. Now, don't be shocked. We've done this before. We've done other episodes where we've discussed the non-conference, the SEC schedule. So I'm not going to be able to go into great detail at all in this. And, we want to be good with y'all's time too on this. Obviously, you need to know what's first up for this opening weekend. Holy Cross. I mean, I don't say like Holy Cross. Holy Cross, the school, which Austin even told me I'm going to throw him under the bus here. Like, that's so interchangeable with like High Point and all these other smaller schools out there that just feel like they get thrown in at the beginning of the season. But not taking them for granted. Is their opening series this weekend, February 14th through the 16th. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Get used to it, folks. Get used to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes it'll be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then you got your Tuesday or Wednesday or Tuesday and Wednesday game. There'll be a Tuesday and Wednesday this week, Troy and North Alabama. That's your first week of Auburn baseball. So get excited about that. You'll get to see a series. You'll get to see two in-state schools. One of the things that I love about the non-conference is the fact that we get to see so many of the in-state schools and talk about them some, because I do love helping give them some notoriety too. And when you play teams like Auburn and Alabama, that's a good thing. So if you want to peruse through the rest of the schedule, certainly do that. Auburn's going to be involved in a premier event early in non-conference where they take on Ohio State, Oregon State, and Baylor. A good chance for them to make some headway there and getting some attention. Old Dominion's coming here for a series, so it'll be a fun non-conference. Murderers Row, SEC, folks. Vanderbilt to start off the year. That is, I believe, at Auburn. Yes, the schedule that I'm looking at is where it laid out just a little bit of a weird way. But a Murderers Row for the SEC, starting out with welcoming Vanderbilt here. You're also going to have a series with Kentucky, with Georgia. Both of those are on the road. Hosting Alabama, hosting LSU. You're going to be at Texas. So your first crack at Texas or Oklahoma in conference play as a baseball program. You're going to be hosting Mississippi State. Big connections there with Butch Thompson being a former assistant manager there. I know it's kind of like the Bruce Pearl effect now We've talked about it enough. It's out there. So I guess we can start to let that narrative die, but it's still a factor there. Tennessee visiting them, that should be a fiery one. And then you've also got South Carolina hosting them to round out the year on May 11th, if I've got everything pulled up here. Don't forget, I'm leaving out a bunch of midweek games with some local and in-state teams that are going to be challenges. Georgia Tech is always a fun home and away that we usually play every year in non-conference in the middle of usually conference play, I believe. I'm trying to look where the first Georgia Tech game is. Yeah, it looks like it's in the middle of non-conference. So I have no clue where I would rank, where I would predict this baseball team. It's a weird year. We're coming off one of those years where Auburn had a very surprisingly bad year. And the year before that had a, not surprising, but just a great year. And so you really don't know what to expect, but there's a lot of energy, whether it's the new talent, there's a lot of familiar faces, phenoms like your Ike Irishes and many others that are going to be here. So Auburn baseball has a lot to be excited for, whether we're talking about facilities, wins, losses, experiences all together with Auburn baseball. We hope that you all are super excited for the 2025 season and what we're going to all experience together today. And hopefully when we get through into conference play, we're going to have a lot more energy. How we'll be covering it here at E2C Network is going to be a little bit up in the air. We have done live streams, like a weekly live stream before, and sometimes those are well attended, sometimes they're not. So you guys determine a lot of times what you want to see from us and what type of coverage. So we'll be talking about them a lot on social media. Don't worry about that. But in terms of live streams and stuff like that, you guys can determine some of that. We will certainly update you on them throughout the season on the Auburn Experience podcast and the episodes that are to come. So I think I have stalled enough for my co-host to get back in there. I think he's ready, so I will bring him back onto the screen. He's giving me a weird look in the background. So Austin, how we feeling?
We're good. Panic just a little bit.
Well, if you were going to leave me high and dry, that was the moment to do it, because I was ready to talk about the schedule. So it gave me a
Did you see my text?
I did see it, and then I looked over and you were gone. I was like,
well, thought I had a little more time.
It popped in.
Not. Yeah.
Anyway, so why don't we do this? I was rounding out my thoughts. We walked through some of the schedule, non-conference and SEC, just giving them a few reminders. We've also done deeper dives into the schedule previously.
Great.
Yep. You tell me whether it's a prediction, whether it's a prognostication, what have you, how this season's going to go. Just you have the floor since you've been missing for a little bit.
yeah, I'm a little frazzled. I think that I think it will be better than last year. I know that's not a huge step out, because it's what we saw last year is just uncharacteristic of Auburn baseball and a Butch Thompson team. I think this team will be better than last year. I think they've added personnel that help them do that. Now, life in the SEC is still not easy. It does not matter how much better you get from a personnel standpoint, because other people have gotten just as good, if not better. And so that's just how it is. I think that, I don't know if I have an official prediction off the top of my head at this moment, but there's just still so many unknowns to me. Maybe that's something we do after non-conference, I know we play non-conference midweek through but you know what I mean? The sure. Main portion of non-conference, which will not be easy, because that's right before Vanderbilt comes to town.
Right.
Way, just what a way to kick it off. But I don't see how this team doesn't have a better year than they did last year, just because it was a low point in the program last year. So we will see. There's a lot to like about this team in terms of how they got upgraded with the potential for pitching. There's a lot of veterans, like we mentioned before, that are coming back that have a strong leadership presence on this team. I think you have to be optimistic when you look at this program and where it can go with all those components, and making sure last year was just an anomaly. And look, Butch Thompson's still the head of the Auburn baseball program.
You should feel good about that.
As long as that is the case, I feel good.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't feel us in better hands, especially after a year like last year, where he's leading, how he leads the program, the type of man he seems to be. Not knowing him really personally, have met him a few times, but I know he's a great coach and a great pedigree.
Yeah.
So how about this? As a prediction, since we don't have really a record prediction, we're comfortable. I said the same thing, by the way, that there's so many unknowns here. I'm not ready to put something out there. If I did my count correctly, Auburn has 9 SEC series. Basically even, I guess it can't be, it's an odd number, but either way, it's going to be somewhat fair home and away. How many of those 9 SEC series, if I counted correctly, do you think Auburn wins? I know that's a bit of a step out, even a prediction. What do you think?
I'm scrolling through them right here just because I don't want to say a number without knowing who's on the schedule.
How about this? I'll do you one better. Let's do this, and this can be our last piece of this. At home versus Vanderbilt, win the series or no?
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes.
All right, I like it.
I'm going to say yes. On the road at Kentucky.
I'm going to say yes. That Kentucky, to me, I'm a big fan of their coach and the way they play, but I think that's one Auburn can go get.
I say yes as well. At Georgia.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no as well there. I believe Georgia's supposed to be pretty good this year.
Yep.
Hosting Alabama.
I think they absolutely can. I think it's very good. It's at Plainsman Park. I'll say yes.
I'm saying sweep.
There we go. Straight up.
Listen, I know you don't expect anything more here from Orange and Blue Glasses, but I'm going to say sweep. Hosting LSU. That's a big weekend. I believe that's A-Day weekend. Yes.
A-Day weekend will be big crowds. I'm still going to say no, just because the caliber of players LSU usually has.
Maybe I'm just drinking the orange and blue milk right here or something. I'm going to say yes.
Gosh, just say Gatorade, orange and blue milk.
I don't know why milk popped into my head. I don't know. It was weird. Almost as weird as smelling like corn dogs, but they'll be there all weekend. At Texas. At
Texas, really fun thing for Auburn to get to go to at Texas. Lots of off-season drama with Texas and Texas A&M, right? But I'll say Auburn. I'm going to say Auburn takes that one in a bit of a surprise, but I'll say they take that one.
I'm going to say that. I'm going to say no, but I would not be unopposed to that your little surprise prediction coming true. Hosting Mississippi State, yes or no, they win the series?
I'm going to say yes there as well. I think Mississippi State is not on a downturn. The baseball at Mississippi State is premier, but I think Auburn can get that one. I think those two programs are not far off apart as most people might think.
Yep, I agree there. At Tennessee, that's a big one.
I'm going to say no, and I'm sure there's going to be some shenanigans that end up happening in that one, right or wrong. But I'm going to say no on that one.
That's what I basically alluded to while you were gone from us. Tennessee always is quite interesting. And finally, ending the season with South Carolina.
South Carolina and at Ole Miss, right? They're still.
I'm sorry. Yes, I think I left that one off. I could be wrong. The schedule that I have here in front of me is a little bit kind of kerfuffled here, but
AuburnTigers.com says they have at Ole Miss after home against South Carolina. But I'm going to say they split those. I want to say they get both really bad, but something in me says they're going to split. I don't know which one I lean. They get South Carolina and they don't win the series against Ole Miss, but I could see either of those going either way.
I won't call them out, but the website that I have needs to fix it because they're missing at Ole Miss. So you said you win Ole Miss?
I'm going to say you win South Carolina, you lose Ole Miss, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's flip-flop.
Same thing. I'm going to stay with you. The exact same thoughts there. It could Auburn, if they get on a good swing in SEC play, that could be some very key series there for them to really position themselves well for postseason play. So no matter you want to predict, an amazing season, I do. I have one final prediction. Yes or no, Auburn makes the tournament.
In Hoover?
Yes. Start there. Does Auburn make the SEC tournament?
I do think they make the SEC tournament. Yes.
Do you think Auburn makes the NCAA tournament?
I do think they'll make the NCAA tournament. I think they'll have a good enough showing in Hoover to solidify that. It might be shaky ground going in. I don't think they'll be hosting a regional this year. I love nothing more than hosting at Plainsman Park, but I don't think that's going to be in the cards this year.
Number 2 seed though?
I think they can definitely get a 2 seed.
I think that might be where we start setting some expectations and see where we go from there. All right, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for our baseball preview. We hope that you guys are excited for the season. We'll do our best to update you on the Auburn experience throughout our time in the upcoming episodes with how the season is going for all the Diamond sports, but especially Auburn baseball.